Hi, everybody. Welcome to the October 7, 2016 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. I'm your host, Dominic Rizzuti. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's get a quick take on police unions in Denver, Aurora, and Colorado Springs, each coming out in support of Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump this week. Patty Calhoun from Westward. Donald Trump has had kind of an ebb and flow of popularity in Colorado, but I was still surprised to see these police unions come out at this stage of the game for Donald Trump. Were you surprised?
I was surprised, and they didn't have to do it, of course. You'll also notice the Colorado Springs firefighters did not come out in favor of Donald Trump after he basically accused them of throwing people out of the hall and locking them in an elevator. When Nick Rogers, the head of the spokesperson for the Denver Police Union, is talking about how Trump is the only person who's going to protect law-abiding citizens, you know, really, have we really noticed that Hillary Clinton is just so namby-pamby? There's no question that there have been problems with treatment of minorities by some rogue police officers. It's not that widespread, we hope, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to deal with it. But why that would indicate, that would give people the idea that Donald Trump really knows what he's going to do with police, it's scary.
David Kopel from the Penn Institute and DU Law School. I guess I was surprised just to see any police unions come out and make an endorsement. It's not like people are waiting for, like they do for a newspaper endorsement. What did you think about these announcements?
But police unions, like lots of other unions, both public and private, have long made endorsements. For example, in 2008, candidate Barack Obama sought and won the endorsement of the largest police organization in the country, the National Fraternal Order of Police. Now, they said they endorsed him in part because he promised he would not support any gun control that they didn't. Well, that promise didn't work out so well, but he, like almost every other candidate of both parties for many years, has sought those endorsements. This year, the Fraternal Order of Police said the Clinton campaign wouldn't even respond to us. They didn't want to talk to us. They didn't want to answer the question. Nothing at all. Hillary, in the primary and in the general election, well, you know, back in the Clinton 1 era, whenever they wanted to do some anti-gun proposal, they'd force a bunch of police to show up, actually ordered by their local chief, and provide a backdrop, even though that rank and file didn't support it. But they pretended they were pro-police, and they believed their own con at the time, so they thought of themselves as pro-police at the moment. Now, they won't even talk to them, and it's far worse than I don't want to talk to you. It is, they're actively promoting murders of police. Hillary Clinton chose to put on the stage at the Democratic National Convention the mother of Michael Brown as some victim, as a speaker. She invites some guy, the mother of a guy who did a strong arm robbery of a convenience store, then has a confrontation with a police officer. One person, his friend, puts up this hands up, don't shoot lie. The Department of Justice, U.S. Department, Obama Department of Justice investigation found that was a lie, found that what actually happened was Brown, the violent criminal, was trying to break into the police officer's car and steal his gun, and the police officer shot him in justifiable self-defense. And Hillary Clinton puts up a man who tried to the mother of a man who tried to murder a police officer, and says, oh, they're the victims. I'm fighting for the people like Michael Brown. Well, then you're fighting for the cop killers. The morning after Charlotte, the police shoot a man who had served 7 years in prison for attempted murder with a firearm. And before Hillary or anybody else knows all the facts, she's already tweeting out, oh, where will this all end? Maybe before you go around contributing to the environment that incites riots and has been inciting around this country, the murders of police officers, maybe you ought to learn the facts if you want to be a responsible leader. She is every bit as much of a vicious, hateful demagogue as Donald Trump is at his worst, and she is part of the climate that is leading to the murder of police officers today.
Yeah, that's an extraordinarily huge claim to say that Hillary Clinton is promoting police violence. I mean, there's one side to say that it's, that she's putting these people up in a Democratic National Convention, but to say they're actually being proposing gun violence.
No, she hasn't formally proposed it, nor has Donald Trump formally proposed violence against other people, but she is responsible for creating the climate of hate and rioting.
Eric, David often gives you a great segue to go from, so I will leave it to you to take it from here as we look at the president of the police union's endorsement of Donald Trump here in Colorado from Colorado Springs and Aurora and the city of Denver. Did they surprise you when they came out this week?
I'm not sure where to go with this. Maybe we should have a topic here that David can work up some passion about and feel strongly about this namby-pamby stuff.
It's been so milquetoast, yes.
Yeah, milquetoast is not working. As usual, David is not wholly wrong. There are germs and gems in there. He takes it quite some distance. I'm going to go a different direction here, which is what this country needs, and the whole issue of police violence is piece of evidence number one about it. It needs some healing. And neither Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, quite frankly, are in any position with record levels of record high levels of unpopularity. Whichever one of them takes office, and most likely Hillary Clinton, they will take office with unprecedented unpopularity on day one before they even make any difficult and tough decisions. We have been forced into a situation, and Trump has bought into it, and as David points out, to a certain extent, Hillary has bought into it as well, where we have to pick up sides in this battle of the streets on issues of police violence. Why does it have to be an either or, Dominic? There have been unarguable incidents in this country. I talk about Staten Island. I talk about the more recent one in Minneapolis. I talk about Baton Rouge. There have been more than one, and damn too many, incidents of completely inexplicable and inexcusable police violence directed against minorities, usually minority males. And we can condemn that and wonder what is wrong and what do we have to do to remedy that problem and heal that problem. At the same time, we ought to be able to understand that police perform a critical, valuable public service, and that the large majority, I don't know how to quantify it, but the large majority of people wearing blue in this country are honorable people, showing up for work in the morning, looking to do an honorable job, and hoping to come home to their families at the end of a shift. We should not be in an either-or position where you either believe that Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter when they both matter, and this country needs healing around this issue as on others.
Care to get the Greater Park Hill News? I guess in any other state, this may not make a headline, and this was a minor headline in Colorado, but you have 3 different police unions. I guess in Colorado Springs, El Paso County, I'm not terribly shocked. But Aurora and Denver did seem, because I think you can make a pretty strong argument that within each of the communities in Denver and Aurora, Donald Trump is not going to do well. He may win Colorado, he may lose Colorado, but he's not, I can tell you right now, he's not going to do well in Aurora and Denver. So we can tell you right there that the police unions in those 2 cities are very likely going against where their communities are going to go. That seems to me to be able to create a rub after November 8th, or November 9th. That has some potential. Maybe I'm crazy. What do you think?
I don't think you're crazy, Dominic.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, I do have to say I appreciate Eric's very, very thoughtful analysis and weighing in on what is an incredibly difficult and complicated situation. And I do hope that, like Eric, we are able to find some healing places as we're post November 8th. That said, the union president of the Denver Police Union, said Donald Trump is the only one who is able to and willing to protect, protect us.
Law-abiding citizens.
Law-abiding citizens. And I have to respond to that by pointing out Donald Trump is also the only candidate who is not willing to or wanting to pay the salaries of those police officers or the benefits of those police officers or any of the goodies that go along with being a police officer, including guns, stun guns, you know, all of the equipment that is required for them to do a very difficult job. He won't pay his taxes, and as a result, he's not willing to put his money where his mouth is. And I would have thought that the Denver and Colorado Springs and Aurora police departments might have
Their associations, just want to be sure.
the associations absolutely might have taken that into account.
That's all the time we have for Colorado Inside Postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.